All right, let's get right into this one. This story is a first-hand account of what it's like to be an undocumented immigrant in London. And really, it's a stunning look at how one single problem, one number, can kick off this chain reaction of desperate choices that completely change your life.
I want you to just imagine this for a second. You're thousands of miles from home, you're working off the books in a huge city, and you're just getting by. And then, out of nowhere, a problem lands in your lap that you have absolutely no way to solve. What do?
Well, that is the exact spot our narrator and his friend Yurii find themselves in. See, they rented an entire house, and the plan was to fill it with roommates to cover the rent. But after only 3 months, everybody just bailed, leaving the two of them alone with this gigantic rent bill coming due.
And this is the number that changes everything. £900. Now, for you or me, that might be a painful bill, but you'd figure it out, right? For them, working these precarious, cash-in-hand jobs, it was an impossible amount of money. It was like hitting a brick wall, and it's what sets this whole dangerous chain of events into motion.
So they are completely trapped. I mean, think about it. If they just run, they lose the £900 security deposit they scraped together, and that's money they absolutely cannot afford to just walk away from. But if they stay, they've got to somehow invent another £900 for the next month's rent. It's a total catch-22. There is no safe way out.
So here's the turning point. They decide to fight. They're going to stay and try to figure it out to save that deposit. But their solutions, well, they aren't exactly simple. They are two massive, high-stakes gambles that are about to bring a whole new level of danger and chaos into their lives.
Let's break down these two gambles, because they really show you just how desperate they were. On one side, you've got this wild, unpredictable move to solve the immediate cash problem. And on the other, our narrator learns about this clever, almost crazy trick to try and game the system itself.
So, gamble number 1. To get the rent money, they find a new housemate. And this isn't just any tenant, this is Bruno, a guy with a prison record who, when he gets high, thinks it's a great idea to call the prison he was just in to curse out the staff. Yeah, bringing him into the house was like lighting the fuse on a bomb.
Now, at the exact same time all this chaos with Bruno is unfolding at home, our narrator gets this little piece of advice from another friend. It's a seriously clever but incredibly risky legal loophole, a way to kind of exist in this bureaucratic gray zone by turning the government's own paperwork against itself.
And here's how this crazy trick works. The idea is that an official government receipt that says your case is pending looks a whole lot better than an expired visa. So it basically acts as this paper shield, but it's a shield that could fall apart at any second, especially since, you have to use a fake address.
And of course, with a wild card like Bruno living in the house and our narrator thinking about pulling this passport trick, you just knew it was a matter of time before it all blew up. So one evening, the narrator's out, his phone rings, and his entire world is about to get flipped upside down.
It was Yurii on the phone. Turns out he, Bruno, and another friend, Vasha, had been out driving high. They tried to blow through a red light. The car in front stopped, and they plowed right into the back of it. Now, for most people, that's just an insurance headache. For them, it was an absolute catastrophe.
Because you have to understand, when you're living in the shadows like they are, any contact with the authorities, cops, paramedics, anyone, can be the end of everything. It could mean getting detained, getting deported, and losing every single thing you've been working for. So they didn't stick around. They jumped out of that car and just ran.
They're scrambling through people's backyards, diving into bushes, hiding in ditches, just trying to disappear back into the night. But they weren't just running from a couple of cops on foot. A police helicopter was up in the air, scanning the ground with a thermal imager, and it lit them up clear as day in the dark.
And just like that, it was over. All their luck had finally run out. All the desperate gambles, all the attempts to stay one step ahead of the system, it all ended right there, hiding in a ditch. And the consequences? They were immediate and they were severe.
The fallout came fast, and man, was it expensive. First up, the lawyer, £1,500. Then, to get Bruno out on bail, they needed another £4,500. We're talking about a staggering amount of money. So, for Bruno, the wild card, this was just the cost of doing business. He pays the fees, he gets out on bail, and he does exactly what you'd expect him to do. He vanishes. He never shows up to court, which means that $4,500 is just gone. For him, that money was just the price of melting back into the city's underground.
But for Yurii and Vasya, there was no escape hatch.
They didn't have that kind of money, they didn't have the connections to just disappear. For them, the process was quick and it was final. From the second that car crashed, the dominoes just started to fall, one right after another, leading them down a one-way street. They were held for a few weeks in a detention center while the system did its thing. They tried to cook up stories to stay, but it was useless. They were put on a plane and sent right back home. That one car crash, which only happened because of the chaos from trying to pay rent, had just ended their entire lives in the UK. And this is where the story gets really cruel. It comes full circle. Our narrator, who started this whole thing just trying not to lose a £900 deposit, is now completely alone in that same empty house. His friends are gone, and he's right back where he started, staring down that same impossible bill, only now he has no one left to help him.
This whole thing is just a powerful reminder that for people living on the edge, there really are no safe choices. There are just different kinds of risk. Life becomes a series of gambles where you just have to hope for the best, knowing full well that one bad roll of the dice, one tiny misstep, can bring your whole world crashing down around you.